bí Ọlọ́run kò sí o. Olóore bí Ọlọ́run kò sí o. Ta ló dàbí Ọlọ́run àgbáyé kò sí o.
You're on to a station that believes in you. We are the pride of the people. This is High Power 102.7 FM, the pride of the people.
The time is 12 o'clock. Good afternoon. Here's iPower 102.7 FM Media News. I am Inioluwa Adekoya. First, the headlines. Senate promises state police passage this week. Federal government acknowledge inflation, insecurity remains a challenge. On the foreign scene, 12 people die in Johannesburg mass shooting. And in sport, former MPFL champions make FIFA benefit program. Details of this and more in a moment. Please stay tuned. Glad to have you back, and now the news in detail. The Senate Committee on Constitution Review, CRC, will present its final report on the proposed creation of state police to the Senate for consideration and approval before the end of this week. As part of the National Assembly efforts to address this country's insecurity challenges, the Senate leader, Opeyemi Bamidele, disclosed this during a press conference in Abuja. Bamidele, who is the vice chairman of the Senate Committee on Constitution Review, said that once the National Assembly approves the proposal, it will be transmitted to the 36 state House of Assembly for ratification by at least 2/3 of them, as required by the Constitution, before it is forwarded to President Bola Tinubu for assent. The Senate leader said federal lawmakers had held several meetings in recent weeks with President Tinubu, the Attorney General of the Federation, and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi, the Inspector General of Police Olatunji Diso, and other stakeholders on the proposed state policing framework. Now to federal matters. The federal government has acknowledged that inflation and insecurity remains a major challenge facing Nigerians, even as it defended the economic reforms introduced by President Bola Tinubu's administration over the past 3 years. Speaking at a press conference to mark the 2026 Democracy Day celebration in Abuja, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, said the government was aware of the hardship caused by its policies, but argued that recent economic indicators suggested improvement in key sectors. The briefing, attended by members of the Federal Executive Council, formed part of activities marking the 27 years of uninterrupted democratic rule and served as what the SGF described as an accountability exercise by the administration midway into its first term. Moving on, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has raised concerns over Nigerian proposed $5 billion borrowing from First Abu Dhabi Bank in terms of risk exposure. The fund suggested Nigeria consider more transparent financing options like Eurobonds or concessional loans to reduce fiscal risk and boost investors' confidence. Nigerian government plans to use the borrowed funds to refinance costly debts and support infrastructure. The IMF praised President Tinubu's reforms for boosting Nigerians' macroeconomic stability and reserves, but noted that poverty and food insecurity remains elevated. And now to political matters. Political parties are racing to resolve post-primary dispute, finalize candidate list and conclude consultation on running mate after the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) fixed the 26th of June for the release of access code to its nomination portal and July 11th as the deadline for the submission of candidate particulars for the 2027 general election. As appeals, grievances and leadership tussle continue to throw the consciousness of the party primaries, INEC has warned that unresolved internal conflict and ongoing court challenges to its electoral timetable could complicate preparations for the poll, even as major parties intensify efforts to beat the nomination deadline and complete the presidential ticket. The African Democratic Congress (ADC) and Young Progressive Party (YPP) and the All Progressive Grand Alliance (APGA) have expressed readiness to submit the names of their candidate to INEC following the conclusion of the primary election. This Midday News is coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM in Inioluwa. Still to come on the foreign scene, 12 people die in Johannesburg mass shooting, and in sport, former MPFL champions make FIFA benefit program.
Whether you're tuning in for breaking news, in-depth analysis, or community updates, iPower 102.7 FM remains your most trusted source. Because when it comes to news, the truth matters. iPower FM 102.7.
Welcome back. To be part of our program, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X and TikTok at iPower 1027 FM. We are also on Radio Garden. And now to foreign matters. At least 12 people have been killed in a mass shooting in an area in Johannesburg, police in South Africa, while another 9 people were injured in the attack at an informal settlement in Cleveland. The suspect allegedly entered the informal settlement through both entrances and moved through the area, opening fire on residents and community members at multiple locations before fleeing the scene in the same vehicle. It could be recalled that South Africa has one of the highest rates of murder, with around 60 people killed per day on average, as shooting in informal settlements are highly common in the country and are sometimes linked to gang violence and personal disputes. Still talking foreign matters, anti-immigrant protesters in the UK have taken to the streets after a 30-year-old man believed to be from Sudan was charged with attempted murder following a knife attack in Northern Ireland. Max crowd gathered in various parts of Belfast, setting houses, a bus, car and barricades on fire, while protesters have also been reported in other cities of England, Wales and Scotland. The protesters fled after local police charged a man with attempted murder over the knife attack, which left another man hospitalized with wounds on his eyes, back and face. The knife attack, which took place in northern Belfast, was filmed by a witness and has gone viral on social media. And now to the sporting arena. Former Nigerian Premier Football League and PFL champions, Eyimba and Remo Stars will be among the clubs set to benefit from the FIFA $355 million club benefits program for releasing players during the 2026 World Cup qualifying campaign. FIFA revealed further details of the distribution principle for the FIFA club benefits program, with more clubs set to benefit from the rewards. According to FIFA, each club that released players during the qualifiers will receive at least $2,360 per player and $60 per player for each match for which the player was released. To end the iPower 102.7 FM Midday News, let's take another look at the main point. We told you in the course of the bulletin that the Senate Committee on Constitution Review will present its final report on the proposed creation of state police to the Senate for consideration and approval before the end of the week. We also informed you that the federal government has acknowledged that inflation and insecurity remain major challenges facing Nigerians. On the foreign scene, we informed you that at least 12 people have been killed in a mass shooting in an area in Johannesburg, police in South Africa, while another 9 people were injured in the attack at the informal settlement in Cleveland. And finally, in the sporting arena, we informed you that former Nigerian Premier Football League and PFL champions Eyimba and Remo Stars will be among the clubs set to benefit from FIFA's $355 million clubs benefit program. That was the iPower 102.7 FM Media News edited by Akin Adebayo. I am Inioluwa Adekoya.